Hello, everyone. Welcome in to the Week 7 Pick Show. Davis Mattek, Rich Hribar with you. Slightly different format this week. We are doing this as a recorded video, not as a live, basically scheduling stuff on my end. But if it does really well, if this does better than the live, then we might transition to this. Leave your opinion on that in the comments. If you like the stream, maybe we'll keep doing it. If you like it better as a video, we'll keep doing that. Reeves, it's Week 7. We actually only have two teams on bye, and they're two teams. Well, some of the team or two. We don't care that much about the Cowboys being on bye. Is the long story short? There, we're maybe happy to get. To me, this is. I mean, dude, this is a beautiful slate. We have a ton of great games for DFS. We have some very interesting real life games. MVP. I mean, dude, it is Week 7. I have no clue who the rightful winner of MVP should be. This football's kind of back.
I mean, it's clearly Lamar Jackson. I don't see how it's like not Lamar Jackson right now, but
So, okay, yes, okay, you're right. It is definitely Lamar Jackson, but
it's only Week 7, or Week 6. So 6 weeks have gone down.
The thing about Lamar is he is the exact type of player who the MVP voters would be very unlikely to want to give not only a third MVP, but consecutive back-to-back.
It's a bummer because last year he wasn't the MVP, and they kind of couldn't like no one could decide, so they just defaulted to the old best quarterback on the best team thing. Like,
yeah, I mean, I guess last year it probably should have just been Purdy or Allen.
Yeah, I mean, I would be fine with Allen. I think Purdy was fine too. I mean, they just literally defaulted. Lamar's literally having the best season of his career, though. Like, it's better than the 2019 season.
Yeah, there's actually been some great film breakdowns on what is different about Lamar, what is different about the offense this year. It does make sense. Year 2 of the Monken offense, he's just way better at diagnosing coverages and everything. Like yeah, they're kind of the death machine. Derrick Henry, a great.
I mean, they have had like a really the start of their schedule has been really nice. Like they played a lot of bad defenses, which has helped. But I mean, we can only judge it on these 6 weeks, right? I think right now through 6 weeks, like it's not even a question to me that it's Lamar Jackson. But again, we have 12 more weeks to go. So at least we're not doing the whole like Purdy dichotomy that we did last year. Like,
God, yeah, you really
that was miserable, man. Like seeing the nerds, and I am a nerd, so it's like, but seeing the spreadsheet socialists like have to cape for Purdy every week, and then the film guys say like, well, Purdy threw a 4-yard pass to Deebo Samuel, and it's like that was like a whole thing like last year, like every Monday through Friday.
I might have a hot take on this. I think I've been Purdy pilled.
He's good. He's good.
I now think that Brock Purdy is a pretty good NFL quarterback, and I now am pro Brock Purdy getting paid the insane mega deal that he is going to get paid by the San Francisco 49ers, which I never really thought I would say. Honestly, never really thought that would be part of my personal.
He's been awesome this year, man, especially because they've been, and you can't even make this excuses, right? Like you can still, he is Shanahan still, like he's got the comfort of that, but he's playing awesome. He's playing out of structure too. He already, I think right now he has 3 fewer rushing yards than he had all of last year. Like right now, they've been missing bodies. Like you go back to it was against the Rams. Did you go back to that Rams game where they had nobody and he played awesome that game? He's been really good. Just been really good. But I think we have to accept Brock Purdy good at football.
Yeah, breaking. All right, Reeves. If you guys are new to the show, we pick our 5 favorite games against the spread sequentially from our least favorite to our most favorite. Mr. Hribar, as always, is going to begin. Reeves, who is your 5th favorite selection? As I pull up the unabated odds screen here, and we can check all of the action.
I'm positive you have this higher, and it's funny that we just talked about Brock Purdy, but I mean, listen, I got the Chiefs, and this is
it's my number one. It's my number one. It's my number one. And Reeves, I'm not even one of these Chiefs people that's like Mahomes is the GOAT, Reed is the GOAT, anything like that. It's simply just Mahomes as a dog. Mahomes as a dog is like it's one of the most automatic things in
You just
sports
bet it,
betting.
man.
It should never
You
happen.
do two things. You do two things. When Mahomes is a dog, you bet it, and when the Chiefs are losing in the game, you bet the money line. Like, there's nothing better than like the Chiefs losing in the second quarter, and you bet the Chiefs. Like,
Yes.
you go and get it. And that's basically why I have it. Now, I do have it last because I would say like, we know the Chiefs are going to lose a
Because
game in multiple
the
games.
Chiefs suck.
And yeah, and they're not that. I don't think that they're as good as a football team as the 49ers. But again, Mahomes is 9-3 as an underdog, not against the spread, like outright. Like it's like you got quarterbacks don't win outright games. Teams don't win a lot of outright games as an underdog. Vegas is really good at setting lines. It's and for a guy to be this good historically, 9-3 against the spread. Obviously, the Super Bowl being the latest time they were underdogs against this 49ers team. Obviously, it was his best game that he's probably played in the last like probably 15 games he's played. So, I mean, it's just as simple as like you said, though. Like, I don't really have a lot of like diagnosis outside of like I'm going to bet Patrick Mahomes is underdog and let the football gods take the wheel.
I mean, it's really that simple. If you wanted to look at some specific matchup stuff, it would basically be, the weapons that the 49ers have. They don't have McCaffrey, so their
You
red
do
zone
get
offense.
Spags though. Spags has been cooking for 2 weeks. I do know that.
The Chiefs turning into a running defense team was never on my bingo card, but they kind of have something here with Kareem Hunt in the running game. Like, obviously, the issue is going to be, can Juju Smith-Schuster replace the Rashee Rice routes the way that he did against the Saints? The answer is going to definitely be no long term. Can they get away with it for a couple weeks? I mean, they're going to trade for, who do you think, Christian Kirk maybe? They cannot try and win their third Super Bowl in a row with a 3-wide set of Justin Watson, Xavier Worthy, and Juju Smith-Schuster. They got to do something, right?
I still think big picture though, aren't they not banking on getting Pacheco back, getting Hollywood Brown at some point in uniform? Like
Pacheco, I would be stunned. Really, so this injury that Pacheco has is the same injury that like Mark Andrews can't play with. It's the same injury that made Tony Pollard look so brutal. Like I maybe they get him back for like a really limited role in the playoffs. Hollywood, it does sound like he'll be able to play in the playoffs or maybe really late in the regular season. Sounds like his
I think
surgery was successful.
if they had any receiver, I don't think it's going to be a splash move. I pegged them to be in the Amari sweepstakes just because Amari had no salary. Like, it's like Amari was the best receiver available because I think he was only due 1.2 million like the rest of the way, like for whatever team traded for him. That was like
Correct.
he was by far the best dude to get because that. Like Christian Kirk, I think is tough to get because of his salary. I think he's still
the Jags would have to eat the money to get a better pick. So like if they wanted a second round pick, they could eat based on my understanding, they could eat the money to do that. Yeah. We'll see.
I think it would be like a low leverage move though. If they do add a receiver, I think it's going to be someone like that.
Jacoby Myers, Kendrick Bourne, Darius Slayton.
Yeah, like those. I think it'd be like one of those guys. I mean, maybe DeAndre Hopkins is a wild card, but
Hopkins is the one that makes the most sense because the Titans would eat some of his money because they're fine from a salary cap perspective. They would eat some money to get a third round pick for him. Their season, particularly after they lose this week, is super done. And Hopkins is a really good fit because he could do the Rashee Rice stuff, or they could bench Justin Watson. If Smith-Schuster really is playing this good, Hopkins is more than capable of being a boundary receiver. He could do either or. Yeah.
I mean, Juju had 100 targets for him. We're only a year removed where he had 100 targets for him.
He was good for them until he hurt his knee. He was a good member of the Chiefs until he hurt his knee. All right.
I figured you would have that one high though. Like I just am just like I'm just gonna bet it because on the principle, but I do think that right now the 49ers are a better team. But we're getting the bye week stuff. I don't think that's really a thing. I think the Chiefs lost off bye last year. So I don't even think we.
Oh yeah, I forgot the crazy Andy Reid off the bye stats. He's always incredible off the bye. I mean, if Mason doesn't play in this game, what?
I don't think it matters because the Chiefs' run D has been so phenomenal.
Well, it's more just it's a red zone thing. They've been so bad in the red zone, and I definitely
Both these teams have been bad in the red zone. I had
Yeah.
some notes on it. Yeah, the Chiefs are 22nd, 49ers 27th. We did see a little bit of regression last week from the 49ers. I think, though, too, the big thing that is not the Andy Reid off a bye thing. I think it's that Spags had 2 weeks to be like, hey, I know I play the 49ers off a bye. He's been cooking some stuff up. He was really good, and they called a really great game in the Super Bowl. They don't have L'Jarius Sneed. They were actually better when they didn't blitz Purdy last year. You know, Spags does this sometimes where he likes to dial up a lot of exotics.
Does it against Lamar, cover 0 against Lamar.
And then sometimes it gets him in trouble. In the Super Bowl, Purdy was actually 12 of 18 against the blitz. And then when Spags, they didn't blitz, he was actually 11 of 20, only 6 yards per pass attempt.
That actually, to me, for Purdy makes more sense because Purdy is like a super processor. Purdy sees the game very well, but doesn't. I wouldn't say Purdy has like elite arm talent or elite playmaking, you know, if that makes sense. Like,
well, this year he's doing it. This year he's got
great,
he actually is the longest time to throw in the NFL. He's like buying plays. Like, he's a ton of plays where he's just like extending the pocket this year, like extending plays and making plays with his legs. He said he's been really awesome. But I'm excited to watch this game for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was my
4 o'clock games this week.
Yeah, it's really good. So that was my number 1. So that is that's speeding up our process here. Reeves, my number 5 is the Cincinnati Bengals -5.5. It looks like well, you can get 5.5 on FanDuel. You can get 5.5 at BetMGM. You can get 5.5 at Bovada. So that I think is reasonable. I'm gonna take the 5.5 and call that good. Maybe by I mean, you could convince me that this moves to 6.5 by Sunday, actually, and I wouldn't like it as much there. It's a lot of points, but god damn, did the Bengals offense look good against the Giants? But basically, I mean, you know what the deal is here, which is that the Cleveland Browns are so they're not even really a football team right now. They're more of like a thought experiment. Like, what would happen if you put the most unlikable quarterback in the NFL and also made him the worst, but then also told the coach that you can't bench him under any circumstance? What would that look like in practicality? And the Bengals defense is terrible. That's why they've been playing close in these games. And I suppose their offensive line has not been very good either. But what does having a bad defense matter against the Browns? You know, until that Giants game, the Bengals offense had been clicking. I believe they're still top 5 in the NFL in EPA added per drive. Burrow is playing pretty well. T. Higgins is basically playing the best football of his career. They finally figured out the running game, which is that
I was told T. Higgins was Josh Palmer on this show.
That was not my stat. That was Sam Sherman's stat, and it looks like it's probably wrong. Shout out to T. Higgins. Shout out to T. Higgins. He is gonna be, man. Tell you what, we would welcome T. Higgins in Kansas City next year if he was interested in that. But yeah, I think picking against the Browns for the kind of the rest of the way is going to be fairly profitable. They do get Chubb back, and maybe that'll really help.
They covered last week, man.
They did. Well, you want to talk about that was like a bad vibes off. I said, like, I was like, oh, this is a really good get right spot for the Eagles. And then Nick Sirianni's wearing a fucking plaid hat and yelling at the fans. Like, it's just Nick Sirianni. He's got to go because he's really holding back like a phenomenal football team.
I got nothing to add if it's for the Browns, man.
Yeah. It's really not ideal. So that is my 5. Reeves, what is your 4?
I mean, my 4 is the same principle as my 5, and if the Lions are underdogs, you just bet them. Like, since Dan Campbell's been the head coach, they are, outside of the Chiefs, the second best team to bet on when they're underdogs. We are getting the Vikings off of a bye, so like that's why I just have this one down. This is another game like I'm really excited to watch this from a real football stance. It looks fun for DFS. There's a lot to like here, but again, on the principle, like I genuinely do believe the Lions still are a better football team than the Minnesota Vikings too.
They are assuredly a better team than the Vikings.
I actually show they should be favored in this game. They should be the favorite in this game. Obviously, the loss of Aiden Hutchinson is the wild card here. I mean, he was by far the best pass rusher in the NFL to open the year. He had 10 more pressures than the next closest guy. in the league. So we'll have to see how that impacts things, because when the Lions were getting pressure on the opposing quarterback, they were absolutely awesome. 49% completion rate, only 5 yards per pass attempt allowed when they got pressure. So we'll have to see how that impacts things. Kevin O'Connell's had a week to kind of adjust to for what he wants to do on offense. But the low-key underlying thing, as good as the Vikings have been on offense, they're giving up a lot of sacks and turnovers. And like eventually that's just going to be something that catches them. They actually have allowed the 5th most in the NFL. They're 27th in the NFL in sacks plus turnovers allowed. So like that's something that's going to catch up to them in the long run. But again, this is just top-down theory. Like when the Lions are underdogs, you just bet them.
I have no issue with that conceptually, and I don't have the Vikings on here. I do wonder, one, like, what is Aiden Hutchinson worth to this defense? Like, I think probably Dan Campbell is just like a very good coach, and he'll figure it out, and none of this will even matter, and we'll laugh at the idea that Dan Campbell and I don't even know who the Lions defensive coordinator is, but the idea
Aaron
that
Glenn.
they would, sure, why not? And they probably figure it out. We also very easily could look back on this as the inflection point of when it all fell apart for the Vikings. Like, oh, actually, putting your entire season on Sam Darnold, he's still Sam Darnold. I mean, you just said it. He still takes a ton of sacks. He still turns the ball over. They're not going to have Aaron Jones here, which means the backfield is going to be Ty Chandler. Ty Chandler's just not nearly as efficient of a player. The big thing for the Vikings is they probably get TJ Hawkinson back this week. Sounds like he's practicing.
Yeah, he'll be back limited. Him and Chubb. We're getting some guys back. We keep losing like 4 players a week for fantasy purposes, but we're getting a couple back this week.
We are getting a couple back. Yeah. So if you made me take a side here, I'd probably take the under. This feels like two defenses that have been super stout, but the offenses have also been really efficient, and the market is siding with the offense. I mean, I really hope this game for fantasy football. I hope this game has 97 points in it. I hope I've never been more wrong about a lean. Like I would not bet this, but I don't have either side of this on my card.
Yeah, just principal bet. I'm taking Mahomes and the Lions anytime they're underdogs.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, Dan Campbell and this team as underdogs. You're probably right. All right, Reeves, I got my number 4, and it is going to be, I'm actually going to take the Green Bay Packers at home, 3 points against the Texans. Basically, how long can PFF Bobby keep getting away with giving away downs? I think you can do it against other teams that are playing suboptimally, but the Green Bay Packers are not playing suboptimally. The Green Bay Packers are saying, Jordan Love, go out and do your thing. Dontavian Wicks, this is going to sound stupid, but Dontavian Wicks practiced this week with the shoulder injury. Sounds like he's going to be back. I mean, they have 5 good pass catchers. I mean, if you include Melton, like Melton would be
where would Tucker Kraft, right? Too like
Tucker Kraft. I mean, Josh Jacobs is not very good, and you know that was just like a really weird free agent signing. Like I still don't really understand what the deal was there. I don't expect the Packers to run the ball all that efficiently, which is like kind of a boon to them. The fact that they're not relying on the run game, which is so funny that they ran it so well when Malik Willis was the quarterback. But I wonder if this is maybe a wake up call actually for PFF Bobby, where if they kind of get smoked in this game, like he mimics Shanahan too much. He mimics the Shanahan tendencies way too much. But basically, the Texans' season has been this: run on first down for negative yards, run on second down for negative yards, or maybe 2 yards, and then CJ Stroud bails you out on 3rd and long. Well, now they don't have Nico Collins, so they're having to play like, and this is actually crazy. Last week, they played a 3rd tackle on 24% of their snaps. I'm sure that's happened, but I do not ever remember seeing a number of a 3rd tackle playing that many snaps. It is crazy. So I think the Packers basically just dial up a bunch of passes. I assume the Texans defense is pretty stout. They made Josh Allen look fucking terrible 2 weeks ago. Yeah, but I got the Packers minus 3 points.
Yeah, I don't mind this one. Packers. I mean, Jordan Love is just kind of, he always gets there, man. And we have the other thing, the Nico Collins factor. Stroud threw 3 touchdowns last week against the Patriots, but his peripherals were still down. And we now have like a 260 dropback sample with him without Nico Collins, and like all of his stuff kind of falls a little bit. All his rate stats.
As you would expect.
Yes.
As you would expect.
As you would expect.
Yeah.
But I had a note in the worksheet on Mixon. So when Mixon has been available, the Texans have run the ball 54% of the time. Mixon's been on the field this season. It's only below Derrick Henry, David Montgomery, and Tyler Algier. In the 3 games that they've played, Houston has a 56% dropback rate. It's 21st in the NFL, 46% on early downs, which is 24th in the NFL. The crazy thing is Stroud's been awesome on third downs again. Like Stroud's a baller. But they keep making him play hero ball, and that's how you accidentally lose games sometimes. Remember last year when they lost in Carolina because like you have a game where like you don't convert all the third downs, because that happens in the NFL, and like they're going to run into weeks where that doesn't happen. This is also a team that like they're only ahead of 3 teams in rate of their set of downs that reach third down because they punt these early downs. It's like I said, that's just a tough way to live consistently. They have one of the lower team totals of the week too, which is pretty interesting, lower than the Panthers. So definitely people are kind of down on them a little bit from a peripheral stance. But I don't have this one on there just because 2 good quarterbacks.
Two good quarterbacks, yeah.
So I mean, it's another thing. Stroud's just really good.
Stroud, yeah. I hate betting against Stroud, but do like betting on Love. Do like betting on LaFleur. I mean, I think LaFleur has kind of shown himself to be one of the.
Well, he's the other guy too. Like he's kind of broke some of those tendencies a little bit.
That's what I was going to say. Is he's kind of one of the McShanny guys who has branched out and has been different. All right, we've done my 4, my 5, and my 1. We now need your number 3.
Yeah, I didn't know because we were doing this, I was allowed to do this, but I'm going to take the Broncos. I don't know when you're posting this, but we're doing it for the game, so I figured why not? I'm gonna
post it. I'm gonna post it right after this. So you are good on this one.
Yeah. Basically it's them opened at 1.5. I think it's like 2.5 now, but you basically just need them to win the game with this line. You're getting the Saints. Third game in 11 days. They have no humans available to play in this football game. They are going to have some humans, I guess, though. Dress. I don't know if they're football players, but they're going to be like running this offense now. Short 3 offensive linemen. No Taysom Hill, no Chris Olave, no Rashid Shaheed. Like I said, and we saw this defense, they just were gassed last week. They've been on the field for 80 plays and 72 plays. And like I said, this is their 3rd game in 11 days. They missed the most tackles they have in a game this season last week. We are betting on Bo Nix, which is not very great. It does not feel good.
One of the best scramblers I've ever seen. He's so good at it. It's like the only thing he's offering right now, but he is very good
just
at
new
it.
Daniel Jones. Like, have you wanted another Daniel Jones in the NFL? Like, have you ever sat and dreamt like, oh, I hope that we get another Daniel Jones along the line? Like, we've got one.
Me personally, no, I've never wanted an additional Daniel Jones, but that is exactly how he is playing.
Denver Dimes
without Malik Neighbors. He is getting his boy Troy Franklin, so we are getting to test the shower narrative, which you gotta like.
We want to have Surtain, but I still think the best unit in this game is the Denver defense. So against Spencer Rattler. And Clint Kubiak did some all right things with Rattler early in the game last week. They had him, moving. They were moving the pocket, but they got some fluky plays like that. Shaheed ran a punt back. They had 2 tipped interceptions because they were down 17-0 early in that game, and they kind of got back in on some fluky stuff. And in the second half, like everything just got exposed to Rattler. He was 11 of 23 in the second half. When he had to play under center, Todd Bowles kept him in the pocket. He threw. So in the first half, only 50% of his dropbacks were in the pocket. They were, like I said, they're moving him around, doing a lot of good things. And then Todd Bowles got some religion and adjusted. 80% of his dropbacks were in the pocket in the second half, and he was 4.5 yards per pass attempt, 2 interceptions. It kind of just all caught up to him. So this is a game where I don't think you should watch this game. I don't think anyone should make plans to watch this football game.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it because I want to watch Rattler. I want to watch Rattler. I'm fascinated by him. What is just a crazy prospect guy story. I mean, projected former number 1 overall.
I forget you're like Oklahoma.
Yeah, went to Oklahoma, got benched for Caleb Williams, transfers away, like totally reinvents himself. Goes 150 picks in the NFL draft after Bo Nix, who, like, if you would have told someone that in 2021,
Devy players too, like because Rattler
yeah,
was a big Devy player.
Rattler was a huge Devy. I mean, he was in the QB1 documentary. He was like the cover boy of the QB1 documentary on Netflix. Like this guy was an institution. He had a brand, and yeah, I mean, I will be watching because I'm interested in that. All right, Reeves, that was your number 3.
Mm-hmm.
My number 3. I don't know when the fuck I'm ever gonna learn, but I'm gonna take the Indianapolis Colts again. I'm gonna take the Indianapolis Colts again. Why am I gonna take the Indianapolis Colts? Buddy, my faith in the infrastructure in Miami with Mike McDaniel, all-time low. This man has Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Jonnu Smith, Devin Achane, Raheem Mostert, Jalen Wright. Granted, his offensive line is pretty bad. I've seen nothing, not one thing that indicates that he can do something like what the Green Bay Packers did with Malik Willis, even with the bye week, even with all this time to prepare. You can't get a dynamic run game going. You can't do, like, what about like some cool split back stuff? Like, you've got Mostert and A-Chain back there. You can't be doing some cool split. You can't do read option with Raheem Mostert and Tyler Huntley. You can't do tight end screens to Jonnu Smith. Like, I suppose one of the things with the Tua-based offense is it's all very timing related. It's all about, like, Tua knows when to get the ball out to get it to Waddle. Tua knows when to get the ball out to get it to Tyreek. He knows exactly how to hit A-Chain in the flat. He knows exactly how to hit. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just so brutal. And they can't take advantage of the huge weakness for the Dolphins, or for the Colts, which is that they have this awful secondary. They're playing like total practice squad secondary players. They're not set up to take advantage of that. And this is actually the type of script you want Richardson in. Now, famous last words. I said this against Malik Willis and the Packers, and it didn't play out. But all Richardson has to do is kind of just run. Like, can I get 13 Anthony Richardson designed runs here? If you told me right now that Shane Steichen has kind of learned his lesson about how to use Anthony Richardson and there's some more design stuff, and maybe they actually have him scrambling, I would maybe have this higher than 3, but I have the Colts as my 3.
Yeah, I have no real opinion on this one because the Dolphins aren't real until they get Tua back, and then the Colts just have so many injuries that they're just
So
like
many injuries.
they're really hard to get behind too. If Jonathan Taylor was playing this game, I would love it for sure. We'll see if maybe he could practice, but I know he didn't open the week practicing again. So they're kind of down there. Pittman's playing with like this weird back thing. Then you've got Richardson coming back in. So like, is Josh Downs like? Then does he get cooled off? Like you talked about the defense, they're down a bunch of defensive linemen. This is just like this kind of a game. Like this is a game that I would have been excited for like early in the season if you'd have.
I
like,
would be. By the way, I'd be
Colts,
happy to lose this one. I'd be happy to lose this one because it means that Mike McDaniel did figure something out. It means
the Dolphins players were good.
It means that A-Chain and Tyreek and these guys score fantasy points. Like, so I'm in.
I kind of am interested. I haven't built lineups yet, but I'm kind of interested in Tyreek this week because he's dipped into the 7s on both sites, and he has over 30% target share the last 2 games. And this defense, like he's been close to some big plays both games. So it's like, man, now that he's dipped a little bit, maybe everyone's kind of forgotten about him. Maybe take some shots on him. But I haven't built lineups to see if he fits because we don't have a lot of free squares this week. We'll see what opens up.
Yeah, we need. Well, we have one. We have Calcaterra is the one. We'll
he's
see.
A tight end. There's some tight end free squares.
Well, he's 3,200 and he's going to get 8 points. So it is what it is. All right, we've already done my number 1. So let's get our number 2s at. Maybe there will be some serendipity here. Maybe we will have the same number 2.
Yeah, I guarantee we don't.
Let's go. Fire it.
I have the Jets, number 2.
Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
The New York Football Jets, these Jets.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I was actually encouraged to what happened Monday night. Obviously, because if Greg Zuerlein makes any field goals, they win that game.
Sure.
But so switching over to Dodd Downing and like this musical chairs, I mean, they had season highs in pre-snap motion, almost 50% of their dropbacks, their highest rate of play action, and their highest rate of dropbacks out of shotgun. Using play action, Rodgers threw for 12 yards per pass attempt. In motion, it was 10 yards per pass attempt. without either 6.9 yards per pass attempt. And if you're looking to attack the Steelers defense, they allow 9.2 yards per pass attempt on play action passes. That's 23rd in the NFL. 7.7 yards per pass attempt at pre-snap motion. That's 23rd in the NFL. And then also, dude, the Steelers are playing Russell Wilson this week. And not Russell Wilson.
Maybe.
Probably.
I gotta say, so there's this larger thing going on in the NFL right now where coaches are just gaming the injury reports. They're basically, like, we've seen multiple instances of this where specifically with quarterbacks, coaches are just basically lying because what they want to do, it's actually, I guess this is actually a good angle shoot, is they want to make the defensive coordinators prepare for two different styles of quarterback. So if you're preparing for Russell Wilson or preparing for Justin Fields, it's two different things, kind of. If you're preparing for Malik Willis and Jordan Love, those are two different things.
And the Jets are going to do their thing. Because the impact here is the Steelers lost another starting offensive lineman last week, center Zach Frazier. They've now lost 4 starting offensive linemen. And against this Jets defense, without 4 offensive linemen, and you're going to, if they somehow remove the ability that Fields can escape. Dude, did you see the play last week where the right tackle didn't even block and Fields just had to run for like 10 yards? Like, Russell Wilson ain't doing that.
No, I mean, of course, conceptually, I agree with you. I just like this Jets experience, dude. It's just,
I think they're going to be fine. I think they played a really good game Monday night. Their field goal kicker kind of boned them. I think they did a lot of encouraging things, and now Rodgers is getting his boy back, man.
So Rodgers is definitely getting his boy. That is super helpful.
I think there's an overreaction to the Jets, though. I think that they've played just fine. They probably should have won that game Monday night. The rest of the season schedule is pretty light. I think they're gonna. I bet they're in playoff contention, man, for sure.
Oh, the AFC playoff picture is like destitute. It's really bad. I just don't
think they were an abject disaster Monday. I think they did a lot of really good things on Monday.
Well, yeah, it was the most pre-snap motion, most play action they've used. They have a really good running game. I'm with all of that. To me, this just feels like such a, again, the fucking Jets. Enough with the primetime games, by the way. And not like I don't really need to see the Jets on primetime like literally every week. So I mean, my deal with the Jets is like, just conceptually, I'm lower on them than the market. That's just where I'm coming from. Because a big part of Rodgers' game always was the mobility, not in sense of running, but in the sense of evading pressure and moving the pocket and stuff. And that stuff is gone. But yeah, I mean, Adams and Wills, like, dude, that's a sick wide receiver tandem. You're probably right. This probably should be. I probably should have this one. I think I'm going to bet this one. I think you're right.
I swung you around.
You did. I just didn't. I guess I just needed to think about it more. Yeah, but with
the Steelers team is a fugazi, man. Like this is not a good football team.
Well, yeah, but
we say that every year.
We say that every year. Yeah. So I'm very hesitant to just be like, all right, I'm piling it in against Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. Now you pile it in the wild card playoff game. That's when you pile it in.
And I don't know if anyone's looked when the Steelers come out of their week 9 bye, their schedule after that. Oh boy, it is rough.
That's when Russell Wilson gets benched and they go back to Fields. Right?
I don't know, man. It's bad. It's a bad.
They're going to play 2 quarterbacks. That's what's going to happen.
We knew this all along, though, that both guys were going to end up playing.
Yes. All right. My number 2 is going to be your number 1. It is the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, of course.
Minus 3.5 points against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Disrespectful line. This should be 5.5 or 6, probably. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens are playing the best football in the NFL. I would say they're kind of in a tier of their own in terms of being the best team. And I love Baker. I have always been a Baker boy, always been a Baker believer, but this is not particularly close. I think the Ravens are phenomenal here.
Yeah, this was my one. It's just like we're tried and true. Like it's like, oh, we talk about like Mahomes as a dog and we're just laying points to the Ravens like we do every week. Yep, yes we are. That's what we're doing. I don't mind that the Buccaneers are getting respect because I think that they have been really good, and I think the marriage of Liam Cohen and Baker Mayfield has been awesome. Like Baker's
been
playing
awesome.
I mean, he's playing a different style of football than he's ever played. Like they're getting the ball out of his hands quicker. He has his lowest rate of throws, 10 yards or further downfield, 20 yards or further, his lowest air yards per attempt, his fastest throw rate in his career. Like they're doing a really good job. What I struggled to find in this game for them is the balance, right? Like the Buccaneers have played really well off balance. They've actually run the ball better than you might think, like optically, because Rashad White's been so bad. But as a team, they've been pretty successful. Like their backfield's been really productive. And the Ravens have just nuked every backfield. And they force you to play one dimensionally, and it kind of helps them out a little bit because even though their pass defense isn't good, like when you just have to drop back and pass as much as you do, like you end up running into a few mistakes, and the offense is just so good right now. And we'll see. I think this is one of their better tests defensively than they've had to open the year, but I still just think that the Ravens have a lot of answers right now, and it's hard for me to see them kind of, really. I mean, they're just on a run right now. I think they're going to go on a big time run.
Yes. I mean, that it's really, to me, it is that simple. It's just the Ravens are, I guess, defensively, they're a little bit worse than we are used to them being defensively. Yeah. Like they are giving up more, but it's good. Really what it's going to be very similar to the game they played last week. Like some of the,
just make a few plays.
Some of the Buccaneers guys are going to be able to get fantasy points. Godwin will be able to do his thing. Evans probably scores a cool touchdown. Baker probably makes like 3. Man, Baker is a scrambler. It's such an adventure. He's just going to like pile drive himself into a safety. It's really some phenomenal stuff to watch. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty obvious spot. You're getting the road. You're getting the road. I mean, it feels like you're getting a lot of points. If this was a neutral field, it feels like there'd be a touchdown spot here for the Ravens. And yeah, I'm like, I respect what Liam Cohen's doing. I love Baker, but yeah, I kind of like opposite of the Jets. I want to shovel in as much as I can on the Ravens. Cause it really does.
Even Bateman's looking good. Like
I just added in a league you and I are in together, Reeves. I just added Rashad Bateman because I'm in super weirdly I'm in bye week hell with no teams on bye because I have a CD Dak stack with DJ Morris as my wide receiver too. So I'm really in fucking jail, and I lost Nico Collins on that team. All right, there we go. That is those are our week 5 sports betting picks against the spread. You got any big angles? We're doing this early. You got any big angles for DFS this week?
Off the really fun DFS slate, there's a lot of games to like. Obviously, Lions Vikings is going to be popular. Falcons Seahawks is going to be popular. Commanders Panthers is going to be really popular. Those all look really fun. Texans Packers has some fun pieces that maybe go overlooked, but then none of those guys are ever cheap in those games. Like you're not even getting discounts on like Tank Dell. Like we still have to pay for him. That's the one bummer. But yeah, I love this slate, man. I do like Commanders Panthers probably the most of all. But there are just good games. There's good stacking parts. I'd be curious to see what opens up on this slate. We don't have a lot of like cheap values. Maybe at wide receiver. DraftKings made Juju 4K, which I think will end up being a popular
He's not being projected as strong as you would think. Like I've already looked at a couple of spots. He's like 9.5, 10 points, which is like it's going to get him in.
Yeah, for 4K,
stuff.
But like what it gets you because I want to get like Justin Jefferson this week, right? Like people are going to want to play Kyron Williams this week, and you're going to need some salary. But yeah, I mean, the Commanders game is the one that looks like it has the levels, right? When I talk about levels where it's got like high price plays, mid price plays, and then like pump plays, those are the games you like because you can stagger them and you can make onslaughts. Because I think there's some really cheap pieces in that game that are relatively interesting. I mean, on the Carolina side, because we figure they're going to have to throw because they're 7-point dogs. I do think Chuba Hubbard's a good play, but you've got guys like Xavier Legette and Jalen Coker at min price. I don't know if anyone like, and then people are going to, I think, get the Noah Brown stuff, but like, so you have cheaper plays there. Maybe
Noah Brown is awesome. Noah Brown.
I think he's kind of a trap play this week, but I'm hoping people overlook him for the Panthers.
I just added him on so many FFPC and NFFC teams. I added him on so many because he is like a fringe player who got hurt and then came back from getting hurt and got more opportunities, which you like never really see, which to me means the commander staff is like, we don't ever need to see Diami Brown again. And Luke McCaffrey is slot only.
Yeah. So, I mean, then you've got kind of both McLaurin and Deontay Johnson, I think are continue to be underpriced this week. They both continue to be, and they both got great matchups, and they're underpriced. And then if you want to pay for Jaden Daniels, you obviously can. You can even play Dalton, I think, in this game too. So you just got a lot of. We will wait on the Washington backfield to see who plays, but it's just a game I think that offers a lot from a salary perspective and a stacking perspective.
Yeah, I'm trying to feel grateful for Brian Robinson Jr. this week. All right, Reeves, let's close it out as we always do. Let's build a DFS pick'em entry over on Underdog.com. Let's skip Denver and New Orleans so that people watching this on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning can fire up along with us. And I will give you the first selection.
I want to go back to AJ Brown. What do we got for Arthur Juan?
Dude, do you know we went 7 of 8 last week, and you know our miss?
What was it?
It was my fault. We pulled up McLaurin, and instead of doing the McLaurin touchdown, we did longest reception. So we had 7 of 8. We nutted out, and the only thing we missed was McLaurin longest reception.
I found like we actually the one we've been doing this. I think this will be the 3rd week, and the ones we said I think have been pretty strong.
Let's see. I can we're gonna have to scroll past a lot of losing picks here, but this was another one that I had where the only miss was it's this one right here. So we had Fields rushing touchdown.
Fields rushing touchdown. I remember that we did May. Yeah,
Godwin,
we were on Godwin,
Jaden Reed, Hopkins, who got on the last play of the game. Terry McLaurin, longest reception, was the only one we missed. Swift receiving yards, AJ Brown touchdown. It was the only one. It was the only one we missed.
You hate to see it.
You really do hate to see it. All right, I
Parlay
agree.
life.
Yeah, let's go back to AJ Brown. What do you want? Do you like touchdown? Do you like receptions? Do you like yards? Touchdown probably my favorite, but I'm open to it.
I think I'm probably more like yards or longest reception just because I just don't go to the touchdown stuff as much as you, but I'm fine with it. I mean, he's played 2 games. He has over 30. He has 34.5% of the team targets and 37.5% in those 2 games. He structurally matches up well with the defensive alignments that the Giants want to run. So, I mean, I'm back in on all these. You can pick one.
All right, we'll do yards. I want to see what the rush attempts number is for Chase Brown. They don't have it yet. I would be locked in on that. I would wait. That'll probably come out Friday afternoon, but I would check the rush attempts number for Chase Brown because my guess is that is going to be a hair low. Okay.
It keeps going up.
Keeps going up. Yeah. Do you have a lean? Oh, I got one that I bet I'll be able to talk you into. DeMario Douglas receiving yards, 44.5.
Oh yeah.
High, low. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. I like that a good bit.
I hope Drake May plays.
Yeah, him getting an MRI after practice. I will say, if you're watching this back and Drake May does not play, this is dog shit. This is the worst pick. It's the worst pick on the board. Do not do this. Under no circumstance do you do this.
We still have Jaguars defense in play to help us out.
True. All right, we got to do something from the explosion game. Do we want to do
Justin Jefferson or Amon-Ra or even JMO are like all like really good guys. Like I had really great notes on all these guys for this matchup. All right.
For Jefferson, do you like yards, receptions? Longest reception for Jefferson feels very good.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because you are betting huge lines, 7 catches and 93 yards.
Yeah. That's why I do the touchdowns. That's where for Jefferson specifically, I'm just like,
I mean, honestly, he has a touchdown in every game but one, right? So like
the only reason he didn't in that one was they were up 28-0 at half. He would have scored a touchdown in that game.
The touchdown might be the best for him, to be honest.
All right. I think JMO longest reception, 21.5 feels like.
Oh God, what?
Yeah. Yeah, that is.
So here's a fun thing on Jameson Williams for this game. Obviously, we know Brian Flores loves the blitz. Number 1 in the NFL. They blitz 40% of all dropbacks. Jameson Williams leads the NFL in receiving yards against the blitz. He leads the Lions in targets against the blitz. And you might say, yeah, he's super fast. He beats some man coverage. That's not what Brian Flores does. He actually leads the NFL in receiving yards against zone blitzes. And his target rate against zone blitzes actually goes up too. So kind of fun for this game. Kind of a fun nugget.
Yeah, that is. I do like that one. All right. All right. Those are my 2. What about Houston, Green Bay? You gotta lean here. Maybe Joe Mixon rush. Oh, they don't have it. Joe Mixon rushing yards. Jaden Reed
That's
touchdown.
probably pretty good too.
Diggs. I don't love the negative multiplier on receptions. Who's your favorite from Houston, Green Bay?
Probably just from like a statistical stance is Mixon, just because the Packers have so many dudes.
Yeah.
That's always the problem with them.
All right, that is.
And I'm done with Josh
5.
Jacobs.
Yes.
I chased for 2 weeks in good matchups, and I just got to wash my hands. I got to step away from the table, dealer.
He'll definitely get there in
Yes.
a game. Like he definitely will. I'm not saying he won't, but I will not be present for it. And that's okay.
Exactly. I think I've just come to terms with that as well.
I absolutely. All right, Seattle and Atlanta, we definitely got to get something here. I actually think both of the quarterback passing hires are good. I think that Drake London touchdown, dude, they are just feeding him in the red zone. The Drake London experience that people have been waiting for, dude, it's happening. Like the Drake London thing is he is phenomenal.
Yeah, this game is going to be fun. It's going to be a drop back city. Well, the Seahawks lead the NFL in dropbacks per game. A wild card pick would be what is Geno Smith's rushing yards in this game?
I bet. Let's just see if I can guess. Oh, there, I missed it. 11 and a half. 11 and a half feels decent.
He's rushing for 24 yards per game. It's his most since his rookie season. The Atlanta Falcons have allowed 57 rushing yards to Justin Fields, 85 yards to Jalen Hurts. And you say, well, those guys get rushing yards. They also allowed 17 rushing yards to Patrick Mahomes. They allowed 42 rushing yards to Baker Mayfield. And last week, they allowed 21 rushing yards to Andy Dalton. So that's kind of a low-key one to look at this week.
You want to know, this is my gold star play. You can take this to the bank. This is my bank examiner play of the week. Patrick Mahomes higher 4.5 rushing attempts. This is, I will tell you guys a secret that the sports books and Underdog don't want you to know. Big game that matters. Mahomes is hitting this at like 1.5 billion clip. Go look at his rushing attempts in the playoffs. He averages about, like, in conference championships and Super Bowls, I think he averages like 7.5 rushing attempts. This line is legitimately like an entire rushing attempt too low. This is my favorite play of the week, bar none. Mahomes higher 4.5 rushing attempts.
Yeah, I look at his rushing stuff does look pretty good this week too.
All right, Reeves, that is 7. Cap us off. No, you got to cap us off. We need one more.
Let's do something in the Panthers game then. Panthers Commanders.
We could do Jaden Daniel. Oh, they don't have Jaden Daniels rushing touchdown. We could do those lines for Deontay Johnson are really fucking high.
There's no catches.
No catches. I continue to like Xavier Leggett stuff. I'm kind of on an island with that one, but I really like him.
What about Chuba Hubbard?
Hubbard's are really high.
What's his longest run? Does he have like a longest run?
Doesn't have a longest run. That stuff will come up a little bit later. Noah Brown, 34.5 receiving yards, 17.5 longest reception.
Chuba Hubbard longest run, if you're waiting for lines to come out for books. I'd like running back longest runs too. I've talked about like that market is always good to me. Commanders are allowing a run on running back runs of 10 or more yards on 19.5% of running back runs. The next closest team is at 10.5%. So if that comes out, look for that. It'll probably be something like
I don't love any of those.
Honestly. Yeah, they're not great.
None of that looked that appealing. Oh, Brock Bowers 58.5 receiving yards. There you go. That's also a bank examiner play. Because Jacoby Myers is probably not going to play. This Rams defense is terrible. Fire that.
I made the argument on our show last night that on DraftKings, especially, Bowers is still too cheap. Like,
way too cheap.
He should be $7K, I think, on DraftKings.
Yes. All right, there we go.
And I know no one, like, the part of the meta this year is to just not pay for a tight end, but dude, he's getting 30% of the targets without Devontae Adams.
I mean, he is his whole ass own entity. All right, the pick'em entry: AJ Brown higher receiving yards, Demario Douglas higher receiving yards, Justin Jefferson touchdown, J-Mo higher 21.5 receiving yards for his longest reception. Joe Mixon higher rushing yards. Geno Smith higher rushing yards. Mahomes higher 4.5 rushing attempts. Brock Bowers 58.5 receiving yards higher. There we go. Everyone, thank you very much for listening and watching. Please, 1, like the video. 2, subscribe to the channel. 3, leave a comment. Let us know if you liked the recorded format or if you prefer it as a stream. Maybe we'll figure that out, but all of that stuff is nice, and I really appreciate it. Reeves, direct the people to what you would like them to engage with this week.
Yeah, sharpupanalysis.com. Just writing up all these games. If you have your thoughts on, if you ever want to know what I think about a player, I wrote him up. I wrote up something about him. So definitely go check that out.
All right, everyone. We are getting out of here. Thank you very much. We'll see you when we see you. And the DFS video, by the way, with Jacob will be out on Friday morning instead of Thursday morning if you got to that point of the program.